think that what happens is people get in the momentum of things. And so at the end of the year, it's one of the best times to start planning something, because if you're going to succeed, you might as well start right at the beginning. And so most people in business, they plan things right at the beginning. So quarter by quarter, right? And so how to really grow your momentum, because succeeding in 2017 has to be different from succeeding in 2016. And so what happens is a lot of things have changed. In every single industry, every year something new comes out, something new develops, something new makes a new change. And so there's always like new software, there's always like new algorithms, there's always like a new business, there's always a disruption, a new product, a new service. And so what happens is if you're not ready to make those types of changes, most people end up failing and staying a year behind. So how are you supposed to be succeeding when there's new development in the new year? And so most people fail to, and what happens is, most people fail to really prepare for the future. And that's like now, you know what I'm saying? There's no longer preparing for 5-10 years from now. See, the world is a constant development. Maybe years back, there wasn't things that changed so much, but right now the world is a constant development. That's like every single day you see somebody winning, you see somebody succeeding. And see, what's in business, like what's different now is that somebody can create something and literally change things overnight. You know, it can be a game changer for everybody. The way you use something, or, you know, a brand new app, like the way you read, or whether it talks back to you, like just a whole user experience. You know what I'm saying? And so what do? So you plan, you prepare, you shoot for the stars. Like, where are you going to land? You know what I'm saying? And so it's crazy, because I take this back. I think when I started my most recent company, TrimTuff, I started in 2014. It's been 2 years now. It's been a ton of success because of our strategy and our timing. And so I remember starting right at the end of the third quarter of the year in 2014. And I said, man, okay, I'm going to launch these products into this very high converting market and see how well it converts. And so when you have a high converting product and you have high converting clientele and customers that are constantly buying and trying to consume and doing new things, you have to position yourself right in the middle to be successful. And so most people fail to do that. You know, they fail to recognize the consumer and the market. They fail to recognize the right product and the right strategy. And so how do you position yourself to win? You have to constantly be developing. Most companies right now already 3 to 5 years ahead of time. They're creating the language 3 to 5 years ahead of time. And so the way you become successful is by allowing people, by creating the language of which you want people to talk to you or talk about your product. See, we've never had to change much, and we simplified things. And once we launched TrimTuff, we launched a very, very simple product, the 10-day fat burner. And so we didn't have to change this, make this crazy name or anything like that. We simplified the name so that everybody can read it, everybody can consume it. It's easy to take. And what I did is I disrupted the market, because I wanted to create a product that was better than the competition at a price that was lower than the competition. And so what Walmart has done is the same thing. I mean, you think about Sam Walton, right? Had a vision. I mean, there's been a ton of other different retailers out there. CVS being one of the top 5 in the multi-billion-dollar companies in the United States. There's all these, I mean, Target, you got all these different companies that are gearing and shooting and fighting towards Walmart, right? But they've always done one thing and one thing only. They've kept the price lower and lower and lower, and had a massive amount of distribution. So when you start a business, when you do something like that, I think it's important that you really understand where you're going to position yourself in the marketplace. You see, you could be the 10th, 20th, 100th, or 1,000th product, but what's good in the eye of the beholder is that people want options. And so when you go and buy a product or a service, you don't want to just look at one. You want comparables. And so you just and as a business owner, you become the best option. How do you take out your consumers? How do you take out your competitors? You become the best option. It doesn't matter if you're option 1, 2, 3, 5, or 10. You know, you just become the best option. And so most people don't really understand. They say, man, there's too many people out there already doing it. Who cares? Be the best option. And so those other options, people will talk about them. People will find out and recognize about them. And so I have plenty and plenty of competitors. I have so many competitors that over a time period, it was easier to rise because we were just the best competitor. We were the best price, the best product, the best results, the best resulting. And so what that creates is a competition and a disruption in the market. And so as you come into 2017 and you start to think about, what am I going to do to succeed? What am I going to do to change my business? What am I going to do to change my strategy? The number one thing, I'm going to give you guys 3 key things. And as I think back on this is something that I should have done a long time ago. But see, most people don't invest in mentors. There's no real mentors out there that can give you the real keys. There's no real mentors that are straightforward, that shoot straight forward with you. And so what happens is you fall into disruption and you fall into a position where you don't know exactly what you're doing, but you're figuring it out. And so as you spend a bunch of time just trying to figure it out, what ends up happening is that you spend a lot of time and a lot of money. You might not ever get that investment back. And investors normally want their money back right away. They expect a timeline on the money when it was released to the time that it's going to come back. And so the number one key thing is to position yourself in a high converting market share. A high converting market share. So position your product, service in a high converting market share. And most people today, if you don't understand that, in 2017, they say right now that 67% of shopping is all done online. And yet you still have these retailers, you still have small businesses that know nothing about Facebook, that know nothing about Instagram, Snapchat. Yet they don't know to be on Yelp, they don't know to be on Google, they don't even know to have a website. And so if 67% of consumers today, 2016, are doing a lot of their shopping online, then where's the rest of the 34% of people going to shop at, in 2017? And so since things are moving forward, I had a friend, his name is Dan. He's the founder of Wish.com. It's one of the most successful online shopping apps for gadgets and low cost products that are selling national and international. And so he said, get into a position. Dan is a very successful, just high quality guy. He told me he's actually in my Lamborghini club. We just rode not too long ago, and as we pulled up into the restaurant, we sat down and talked. And I said, Dan, what makes your company so successful? You got eBay, you got Amazon, you got all these different online shopping apps. What makes you so successful? And he replied with one of the most simple answers. He says, get into a position where there's high converting traffic, where there's high converting people in the marketplace, and create a high converting product or service. So that just made absolute sense. If people are in construction, people are in sales, people are in the law practice, you're a teacher, you could be a bus driver. It doesn't even matter what exactly. 2017 should hold a high amount of success for you if you position yourself correctly for people to make you the best option.